All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. I'm not sure if I started
After dark, Alex. Trade the Chain after dark.
It's Trade the Chain after dark. Welcome. It's 7:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm glad all of you could join us. We actually scheduled this for the evening time to wait for the whole market day to close in the U.S. and kind of give an overview of what's happening. I will frame this episode like this. It's going to be a serious episode, okay? I'm going to try not to tell any jokes, except for Ryan's hair. But other than that,
I have a full head of hair.
That is no joke. That guy.
Ryan's hair is no joke. But there's a lot going on in the market, and obviously you see who our panelists are. We have our esteemed colleague, Rob from Digital Asset News, the one and only. We have Ryan, the NFT hairdo. We have Lucas Bradley, our Trade the Chain member, who we love and respect and is so much smarter than all of us. But the reason we came on this late in the evening is because the market was doing some very, low volume pricing, and we wanted to address this and kind of talk it out and kind of spend time with you guys. So thank you for joining us. Ryan, if you could just quickly go over the legal so we get out of the way. We're not going to do any plugs tonight. We're going to go straight into what's happening.
Okay. All content provided by Trade the Chain is strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Absolutely none of this is investment advice. It's not like any of us are making any money anyway, so don't bother listening to us.
I said no jokes, Ryan.
And this is also just a reminder that Trade the Chain Live is brought to you by TradeTheChain.com. If you haven't yet joined, check it out. 14-day free, 14-day trial.
I also said no plugs, but Ryan doesn't listen. It's okay.
I don't.
And also, Lucas Bradley and Rob over Digital Asset News, not financial advice.
No.
But first and foremost, I just want to go into, Rob, let's start with you.
Sure.
What is happening today? What was your feeling today? I know that you and I chatted back and forth early in the morning. There was a lot of Twitter going on. What's your sentiment and what's happening?
The sentiment is that just what everybody else is seeing is like, what the hell's going on with this market? Because we were all under the assumption that it will be a straight line and there will be no dips whatsoever. Just kidding. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we see these things. And here's a story from the reality, right? So I go and meet my friend George, and one of our waitresses that we always
shout out to George.
Shout out to George, El Pollo Loco. And he says, so we're there, and I'm with Angela, and she's like, hey, and this is exactly what she says, what happened to the crypto that you told me to invest into? Because it is not doing what you said it was going to do. I'm actually down. Whipped out the Voyager app, took a look at it, took a look at everything that's going on. And it's very hard to tell people, like, look, I know you're down right now, but if we just take a look at the 4-year cycles and then it's going on and blah, 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 they're like, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, where are things going? What happened? Because it seems like everything's going down. And I think this is one of those things, and it all stems from education, right? So when I was talking to Angela, I'm like, look, it is a very volatile market that we're in. And just like we talked about, we said, don't invest anything more than what you're willing to lose. She's like, yeah, I don't remember that part. I just remember the part where you said it's going to go up, which is what everybody really thinks about. And I said, look, and I try to explain to her, I'm like, look, where do you shop at? And like to get your dresses and things like that. She's like, Macy's. I go, great. I go, so let's say you go into Macy's, right? And you see this beautiful gown, right? And it's 25% off. What would you think? She's like, I think it's a great deal. So I really, I want this dress. I go, great. I want you to look at your Voyager account in the same exact way. When I show you about Cardano and Ethereum and Bitcoin, I don't want you to look at like what's down. I want you to take a look at the percentages and just go, wow, what a great deal. I go, now let's talk about these cycles and what has happened before. I go, so I'm going to tell you right now, you can do what a lot of people did in 2017 and what I almost did, which is I got spooked and I was this close to selling. But at some point you have to say to yourself, you know what? I think things are going to go up. I think it's going to work out. I am an investor. I'm not here for the short term. And she goes, that makes sense. And then off we go.
So I think part of this, Alex, right? Two things happened today that I think are relevant to this conversation. One, the U.S. government announcing that it got, what was it, 2.3 million back in Bitcoin paid in ransom to the Colonial Pipeline hack. And before you react to that one, Alex, wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, a $500 million note paying 6% to buy more Bitcoin.
Okay. So
Lucas and I were chatting about that offline last night. Lucas, before you interject, because I think Lucas does have a great point of view on this, only because I was chatting with him already about this.
Lucas, go for it.
This is absolutely wild.
Wait. Before Lucas chimes in, can I ask, was that equity or debt for the Bitcoin?
Debt. It's debt.
It's debt, but though, Alex and Ryan, you can comment at this better than I can. There's something different about this debt offering than the others, in that it has something to do with it being paid off before other shareholders would be. And I don't understand that, but it is a much riskier offering than the other ones he's done in the past.
Offering, right?
Correct. Something along those lines, and I don't understand how it's positioned that way. However, this is a much riskier offering, and that's why I think it came in over 3 or 4x the interest that it would have had otherwise. Like, this was a very risky offering. He's not only doubling down or tripling down. He is kind of going all in at this point.
So hold on a second. Let me get this straight. Lucas, you're telling me that the current debt offering for this 100,000 BTC, if I read Rob's title on his last YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
This 100,000 BTC is being offered as a preferred debt offering. So automatically he is assigning seniority rights to this offering for creditors in the case of default to these people over everything else in the company.
And listen, I'm not a finance guy, but for what I've read online, it is more preferential than the other debt offerings in the past. That's what I feel comfortable saying. What I would say with some of the analysis that I've read is that some people have used, like we joked about being irresponsibly long. People are just calling this irresponsible at this point.
Well, I will say, and I'm going to look into this, because if it is preferential, if it's seniority debt on all the debt that the other offerings have carried with MicroStrategies, this is completely irresponsibly long. I will say that, but I don't know. I'm going to find out. So, don't hate me for it yet.
Alex, this is just a continuation of the behavior that Michael Saylor has engaged in since he, became CEO of MicroStrategy. Right, he created that preferential share structure. So he says when he goes out to podcasts that the board is behind him and that everyone's on board with him buying Bitcoin and putting it into the treasury. None of that is true. It's a lie, right? He just needs his backing because he has sole control of what the company does with its finances. And so he was able to create this share structure and create that, and enable himself to buy Bitcoin into the corporate treasury and to issue debt against the company to buy more Bitcoin. And now he's pretty much, from what I've read, created an entirely new debt instrument that puts Bitcoin to the front of the line ahead of even creditors to the company's hard assets.
Well, that's what I'm concerned. That's what I'm concerned about, Ryan. I mean, I'm concerned about, first of all, he has a prior debt offering, a massive prior debt offering. Okay. Which, by the way, I don't know the percentage returns of that debt offering are, but the coupon is outweighing the returns of Bitcoin right now. I want to know where in the seniority cycle of debt that is with the rest of the debt, right? So folks, when you have a company, here's how it works. You borrow in order to acquire things, and it's a very reasonable and realistic way of doing it. It's what leverage buyouts,
right? Same as an individual, you borrow against your credit limit.
Exactly.
Your home.
Exactly. Whether you finance a car or a boat or an airplane or whatever you do, but what you do is, as a business, you leverage in order to acquire things, so you don't have to pay outright cash. Now, when you do that, that debt debt is classified to various instruments in seniority of payout, so that if the company becomes insolvent and it goes into a court, and let's talk about Delaware. Most companies are incorporated in Delaware that have any sustainable value, is that the court will then look at the debt issuance priority, and those people on seniority will get paid out first in a liquidation value. Now, I'm going to go one step further. So when you look at a stock of a company, there is something very important that you need to look at, and that's called intrinsic value. So if you look at, let's say, Bank of America's intrinsic value of a stock, let's say Bank of America is trading at $10 a share. It isn't. I'm just throwing it out there as reference. If its intrinsic value, if you sold every pencil, desk, and chair in it, equals $5 a share in what they could return, that is the base intrinsic value of a company. And that is very important to know on a company that is shaky or maybe shaky. So I'm curious on what the intrinsic value of MicroStrategies are. I know that he controls a lot of shares, and I'm curious on who doesn't get preferential treatment on any debt offerings in case of insolvency. That being said, I don't know that this is bad. I haven't looked into it, but I'm very curious.
Let me read from their press statement really quick.
Yeah.
The pricing of its offering of $500 million aggregate principal amount of senior secured notes due 2028, which will bear interest at an annual rate of 6.125%. People are calling them junk bonds, which then I don't think that it's going to fall into the category of what we're talking about. Other people are saying the opposite. I'm not an expert in this. What I am saying is people within the finance industry that are outside of crypto are calling this very irresponsible.
Lucas, are they S&P or Moody's rated?
It's out of Jeffries. I don't see anything.
Alex, anyone from the outside looking in, when you're starting to preferentially treat Bitcoin over the people that have bankrolled your business when you're already maligned as a CEO. Let's not even get into some of the articles that were written about Michael Saylor's spending habits before he bought Bitcoin, right? The guy is not, he ran that company into the ground before he bought Bitcoin. It just, the stock meandered for decades. And, all of a sudden he's a Bitcoin evangelist. And, I think, and this is something, Lucas, that I can speak to anecdotally, right? In Miami over the weekend, I was backstage at the conference right when Michael Saylor walked off stage after his fireside chat, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And he was swarmed with a group of people like he was the Beatles coming off the plane right before they played at Shea Stadium back in the 60s, that first concert in America. And he got ushered into the side room from the green room because it was too dark in the green room for whatever reason. And you couldn't breathe in there. I was
Brian, you and I have said this all along, though. It's all about celebrity. When you have somebody who wants to have some sort of status, they talk about crypto because it brings them instant status. I don't care if you're an entertainer, a B-rung CEO, or anything else. But I don't want to get, listen.
Hey, Alex, let me finish this for 1 second, right? Just hear me out, okay? He was looking around. He was like, he was in disbelief because that was his first in-person conference since he became a Bitcoin evangelist, because there haven't been any over the past year. And it's only been about a year. And he was looking around. He was like, okay. And I think he started feeling himself. He's like, let's see how crazy I can make this. What can I get away with?
Let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about that lovely lady who screamed and ran up to me. Can we just say that again?
Oh my God, guys. So this fan of Alex's walked up to me at the conference next to the Market Rebels booth and said, "Hi, Ryan, how are you?" And she was a little bit older, a little bit not as tall. And I was like, "Hi, how are you?" She's like, "Where's Alex?" Right? And I turn around and point to him. He's 10 feet away. She's like, "Oh my God, it's Alex!" And she starts running towards him. And he's like, "What?" Like, he didn't know where it was coming from. It was amazing.
That is called my Michael Saylor moment.
Yes, because that's how he reacted when everyone rushed him. It was crazy. And I think he said to himself, I think I can get away with more. Right?
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to bring this full circle back to talking about what the market is doing and how we feel about it and what what investors may or may not be feeling. My theory going into the Bitcoin conference is that we're going to see a run up in price, an excitement of what was going to happen at the conference, and then not a lot.
Which it did.
Pardon me?
Which it did.
Which it did. And then not a lot would be announced at the conference other than these kind of hype scenarios. And then we'd see a deflation through this next week. The news coming out about the federal government, cracking Bitcoin, but actually it's not what happened.
They didn't.
They didn't, but that's how it was perceived. I think let the air out of that deflation out of the conference more or quicker than it should have. And that's kind of why we're seeing this large.
And that's what I was going to get to. I think people are apathetic about the debt offering because they realize how out of bounds it is. And then they overreacted to the seizure of the ransom paid to Colonial Pipeline hackers. When you're looking at sentiment data on Trade the Chain, there has been a noticeable change. And I want to share this real quickly. This chart. I hope this is the right window.
If you don't have it, I have it up.
Okay, please pull it up.
Sure.
Because I use Brave and Zoom doesn't like it for whatever reason. So when you're looking at the daily sentiment data, right, on the 7-day, it popped up during the conference, then it dipped just after it, and then it went up again, and we're back down where we were. And, the daily sentiment data is not too positive, and I think that's because people are starting to buy into this bearish narrative. But when you look long-term, the bullish thesis is still there. And it's almost as if traders are saying and investors are saying, okay, fine, there are a few hurdles here. We may go down a bit, but long-term, we still believe in this. Whether or not we hit some of the price targets that have been thrown out there of 6 figures or, even higher than that, like, 400,000, 100,000, 200,000. I honestly don't think we hit 6 figures this year, but
I agree with you, by the way. And let me just throw in this because it's Trade the Chain after dark. I think Kaiser was out of control with what he was doing at the conference.
Oh, he was a madman.
Absolutely madman.
I mean, Laura Loomer made more sense than Max Kaiser, and Laura Loomer was shouting at Jack Dorsey for being banned from Twitter, and she got kicked out.
She had every right. Max Kaiser ripping up $100 bill on camera was, one, just disrespectful, but two, the fact that he's still shouting out to people who follow him that Bitcoin's going to reach 260,000 plus is just disingenuous.
I mean, there are some other people that rhyme with Mitmoy that do something similar that I won't bring up, but he's on that same level at this point, right? Even Anthony, I won't say his name.
I just want to say, by the way, I just want to get this out of the way.
Sense. That's how out of control this
anything
is.
Ryan and I throw out here this isn't Lucas's or Rob's views, just so you know.
Not at all. No. And I should have said that at the start. Lucas does not necessarily agree with everything I say, and nor does Rob.
He doesn't even like us.
No, Lucas just tolerates me.
I have a chart. I have a chart for you guys to look at.
Rob took a shower after he fist bumped me in Puerto Rico. So
I think that we all. I think that we all know and feel that the Bitcoin conference was kind of running on fumes in that it didn't give us anything huge to be excited about from Bitcoin. There was no ETF. There was no there was no university that bought Bitcoin. There was no major corporation that went into it. There were a lot of great presentations, but a lot of it were just these types of almost overzealous hype trains of what the future holds for Bitcoin.
It was
and the market
in the last top, right?
The difference, the shining part in Trade the Chain, the chart that you had up a little while ago, was the sentiment analysis of Sunday when we heard about El Salvador. Now that was an amazing moment. That was a fantastic speech. That was, I think all of us that are excited about crypto are about helping people from around the world. And that's very exciting. But you can see that the market rejected it. Where sentiment on Twitter was up, the market rejected it almost immediately because there's nothing really tangible there yet.
Yeah.
Now let's come back to what's good in the market. Now here we are beating up on Saylor, we're beating up on Bitcoin, we're beating up on Max Kaiser, which is really freaking easy to do. But can you all see the screen that I'm sharing? The Bitcoin dominance chart. What I think is important to realize is back at the turn of this year, Bitcoin dominance was at about 73. We've gone slowly but surely down throughout this year moving forward. Now, we all get upset that something bad happens and the market crashes. It's due to Bitcoin. It's bad. It's due to a bad headline in Bitcoin. It's due to something bad happening in Bitcoin. What I would like everyone to start thinking about more long-term in their investment is, what do you believe in long-term? What are you excited about? I am excited about the long-term investments available to us in other cryptocurrencies that are not a store of value or store of wealth.
Lucas, explain to the folks, that is why the Bitcoin dominance chart is receding, is because there are more projects of caliber and substance that are actually coming out. So it doesn't actually diminish Bitcoin at all. It just shows there's more out there.
Correct. That there are other coins within the top 100 of market cap that are catching up to that Bitcoin market cap. In other words, just look at a graph of the Ethereum market cap versus Bitcoin's market cap, and it is slowly eating away at that. We've talked about the possible flippening of Bitcoin soon. And what people mean is that the market cap of Ethereum or some other cryptocurrency or a combination of two or three will be larger than that of Bitcoin itself. Where am I going with this? What I'm trying to convince you all is that long-term investing, like Rob says, dollar cost averaging in your favorite long-term projects that have utility, is still an extremely viable investment opportunity at this stage. If you can kind of ignore the implosions that are Bitcoin, because there's a lot of hype there. And with that hype comes a roller coaster ride. All these other coins are gaining ground on Bitcoin. And for the time being, this tumult that you see in Bitcoin is going to continue to impact those coins. A 10% drop in Bitcoin means a 15% drop in other up and coming coins. However, they bounce back quicker, they bounce back stronger. The teams keep developing and releasing things, whereas Bitcoin is largely stagnant. I loved a lot of the stuff I heard about the Lightning Network over the conference, but other than that, there's not a lot going on. So my hope and dream speech for you, to kind of bolster where everyone is, everyone's very sad right now, is that the long-term prospects for this, beyond just 6 months, beyond just the next 12 months, for 3 to 5 years, this is going to change the world in terms of finance, in terms of your identity, in terms of the way that you do business online. It is literally going to change everything. You're still on the ground floor. It's painful right now, but stick with it. There's one last thing I'd like to say. If we could change, I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead. No, I'll come back to it.
No. Finish up.
The last piece that, a mantra that I like to tell people when they're asking me about investment advice, beyond just only invest what you can and invest for the long term, is that if you feel you need to sell, that's completely fine. You need to make personal decisions for yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones, what's best for you. At any time, never feel bad about selling. And as long as you feel like you're making the right move for you and yourself, that is completely fine.
And that's something, sorry to cut you off, Lucas, but that's something that I've espoused from the beginning, right? A lot of the people watching and others in the comments and people in our community call me paper hands, but when I want to get out, I'm out. I don't care what people think. I take care of what's best for me, for my family, and for my portfolio. So if you, as an investor or a trader watching right now, you feel like you need to get out, get out. For you. Don't worry about everyone else. You don't have to be a hero. Just get out.
First of all, more importantly than that, Ryan, thank you for clarifying my sunburn.
Team player, man. Team player.
Second of all, and I think all four of us will emphasize this, that Ryan and Lucas are absolutely correct. And even Rob has said this on the show. There's no harm in selling. If you have an investment that is down, maybe you've lost money, but maybe you need money and you see that diminishing and you need it, you can sell. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Matter of fact, nobody knows that you did it except for you. Okay, so there's no pride in losing money that you can't afford. Okay, I want to say that. But next, I want to go to Rob. I want to give Rob the floor because he has been patiently listening to us just mouth off. And Rob, please impart some of your pool house wisdom.
Well, first of all, the reason why I just sit back and listen is because I learned so much from you guys. And it's what it's what I've said before about different shows and different things on the YouTubes and the Twitters. You have to look at who you're watching. Who are you watching? What kind of value do they give you? And do you actually glean some type of really great information? Because a lot of things that I watch on YouTube are trash, unfortunately. So when I have some great information, I sit back and I listen, and I learn. That's all I can do. So, but on top of that, just to what Lucas and Ryan were talking about as far as selling and things like that, is that when I sold my XRP, gosh, when was that? 4 or 5 months ago or so, because I did a little wash trading, which is legal in crypto. I got a lot of heat for it, but people don't understand that I actually bought back in. But I think what the problem is that when somebody,
I didn't know you bought back in. That's wow, that's kind of disturbing actually. But
That is bold, my friend.
it is bold. But guess what? It was at 21 cents.
yeah, and you made some money on that.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Every time you sell, it's like you're getting away from this community. And I think the people see it like, this is how people see it. This is just my 2 cents. People see like you're leaving the community because you're selling. But really, in all honesty, and this has been going on since 2017 when I first got in, when we all got in, when people sell, has anybody ever congratulated somebody for selling? It's rare. But when someone sells, we really should be saying, hey, if you made a profit, good for you. This is great for you. But no one says that anymore. No one says that, period. And it goes back to that tribalism. These are the days that we really should be looking at each other and going, if you sold and that was your goal, then good for you and what you did. But it escapes us for some reason. That's all I can tell.
Heaven forbid anyone achieves their investment goals. You have to be a maxi and you have to hold on until everyone else sells, or else you have
100%. 100%. Matter of fact, this show should be dedicated to all the people that are holding and don't want to hold. If you don't want to hold and you need the money, you sell. You do what's best for you. You do what's best for your family. You do what's best for your investment thesis. 100%. No one's ever going to make fun of you.
It's
hold that sell button.
And matter of fact, you're going to be ahead of half the other people who don't sell when something doesn't go their way. So it's okay not to hodl.
Yeah, and there is like my one problem is I figured out the DCA and the holding and everything else, but even in our last Trinity trading, I have one flaw, and that flaw is when to let go.
Well, that's because you didn't listen to me.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm like Alex doesn't know what he's talking. He's only dealt with $1 billion hedge funds. What does he know? So I'm like, so yeah, it's one of those things where you look to yourself and go, where are my shortcomings? That's one of my shortcomings.
Yeah. And one of the things, folks, is that you'll listen to me, Ryan, Rob, we'll be on the show and we'll talk about different projects and we believe in, but we'll also be really honest with you. We'll be honest. Obviously, you'll know when we own them because we'll say it and we'll be supporting it. And you'll know when we sell them. I mean, Rob is the most transparent person in the world. We on Trade the Chain give you our portfolio holdings. So this is, don't hype into the crowd. Do you. That's actually all I have to say. Do you.
The amount of criticism I've received, which I really don't care about, you all can sit here and mock me. I sleep well, but like the amount of criticism I've received for selling at times or backing out of position, it goes back to that tribalism, and people need to not listen to the crowd because the crowd doesn't always have the wisdom. Sometimes you have a goal, sometimes you have a number, and if you hit that number or that number hits you, get out.
Boom.
It's for you.
Boom. Right there.
I've never been afraid to get out when that number hit me or I hit that number, and I've never been afraid to be public about that.
All right.
And
let's talk about what we think is happening with the markets right now. We couldn't get CJ Monty on to do technical analysis this evening. They're busy living their life as we all have our lives. And this was a 7:15 p.m. show, and they will be back tomorrow. But I mean, what was the compression in the marketplace as far as price action was concerned? Rob, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of compression, man. That's what happened. And but just getting back to the stories that Ryan actually brought up, which was the Colonial Pipeline ransomware, where at first everybody for some reason, and this goes back to what Lucas is talking about as far as education. When people hear that, oh, that the government and the FBI was able to pull back that Bitcoin in some way, meaning that, oh, they were able to just confiscate Bitcoin, just like the government usually does, just like they did with gold back in the early 1900s. So they can do it to Bitcoin. I'm going to get into that. But then it was revealed that that wasn't the case.
But
So
they
it was
built
actually,
the app.
yeah, it was a cloud server that they had, which I don't know who hackers do that, but they rented a cloud server and the FBI came in there and pulled it that way.
Bush League hackers, that's who do it.
Bush League hackers that made $4 million. So I'm like, that's
Did they
pretty
know?
good money for not
Yeah.
doing too
Did
much.
they though? Did they though? Like, I mean, a lot of it was clawed back. So did they make 4 million?
Well, first of all, it's clawed back because the whole app that they were communicating on was built by the FBI, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, which is hilarious, right? So we had that. We had Donald Trump who comes out on Fox Business, and whether if you
I
love
hardly know him.
First of all, do not give this video a thumbs down because you don't like Donald Trump. Just give it a thumbs up because you like the content. I ran into this when I talked about Biden. I got so many downvotes because people are like, I hate Biden. I'm like, well, hate Biden. Don't hate me.
This isn't a political thing.
Yeah, exactly. So Biden went on Fox Business and goes, hey, I believe that Bitcoin is a scam. I believe it's a.
And of course, we just got our first thumbs down. It must be Peter Schiff watching. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
I don't know that guy. That guy sounds irrelevant. So there was that happened, and of course, people say like, well, who cares? He's not the president. That ex-president still has a lot of sway with a lot of people in the country. And I don't know if they actually invest in the crypto. So there's those two components, and then moving forward. But then, in honesty, do you really think it's like these news stories, or do you think it's just like a bunch of whales and manipulators who go, you know what, that story looks pretty negative. I'm going to sell a little bit. And that person looks at that whale and goes, I want to sell that. Before you know it, it's just a big conglomerate of people getting together and going, da, 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 da. Before you know it, we have a lot of selling.
So
You know what
this comes down to, Rob? Jeff Dorman at ARCA, who Alex and I both know very well.
Love Jeff.
Love Jeff. One of my favorite people in the industry. Whenever the market is down this much and there's no real explanation behind it, he would always just look at me and say, there's more sellers than buyers. And I think ultimately that's where we're at. There's more sellers than buyers.
I like it simple. Good job, Ryan. Yeah.
Listen, the guy has pedigree, and when he says something, most people listen to it. At least those who know what they're talking about, and it sometimes it just is that there's more sellers than buyers, and I really think that that's where we're at right now.
Do you
Listen,
think
it's a macro environment right now, and I think people like Jeff, who has pedigree from Morgan, Citadel, and whatnot, who know what they're talking about, are absolutely correct in this. Absolutely. I also want to point out that I am extremely excited that Elon Musk's latest tweets were less effective. Every time he tweets, is becoming more or less effective to the market. The market participants, the people who are watching the show, the people who are on this panel are becoming less affected by Elon Musk's tweets. And that's a great thing.
I think that everyone, I want to prepare everyone for something. You're right. It is becoming less effective. And everyone listening to this and everyone out in the market should prepare themselves for Elon announcing soon that Tesla is going to sell their Bitcoin, or has done so.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
He is not getting the attention and he's not be able to control the markets. He's going to find a way to do so. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen. What I am saying is that people should prepare themselves mentally for that happening, so that if it does, there's not mass panic when it does.
Lucas,
because honestly, good riddance. Let's start building a better crypto community to where we don't need that type of person around. I would consider that to be good news, not something that we should panic about.
What I was hoping for, Lucas?
I wish we had more. I wish we had more than 17,000 subscribers to this channel, so that more people could hear that, because that is ultimately true. Do not react to Elon Musk. Again, reiterating what Ryan, Lucas, and everybody here has said to you, do what is best for you, but don't react to idiots in the market space. Sorry.
I'm not gonna call Elon Musk an idiot because he's a brilliant man.
Oh, no. Whoa. He sent people to the space. He created an electric car. I didn't call him an idiot. I said idiots in the market space.
Okay.
In this market space.
What I'm hoping for is that Elon Musk sees Jeff Bezos saying he's going to launch himself into space in a few weeks. I hope Elon Musk sees that as a challenge and he tries to beat him. Like, we just get a week without Elon Musk because he launches himself into the.
And he'll be focused on space crap.
Yeah. Why can't they have a space race instead of a crypto race, right? Like, Jeff Bezos doesn't care about crypto. He has his billions. Like,
You don't see Jeff Bezos saying, hey, go Doge.
Yeah, like Elon Musk is just, like you've said in the past millions of times, he's in the back of a limo coming back from a club. He's like, let's see what happens.
He wants to impress a girl. Look what I can do to the Bitcoin market. Great, wonderful.
So mentally, what I would tell people to do is think long term. We're too focused on this 2021 market cycle of exploding by November. My advice, if you're feeling a lot of pain right now, is to look at the 3-year to 5-year timeline. Pick the projects that you think are really, really important and start buying those from a dollar cost average perspective. You will be extremely happy.
Lucas, what's your project that you think are important to look at, to do your own research and look at?
It's the same ones up at the top that I think that are going to be the big ones: Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Uniswap to a certain extent. These are great. I've been beating up on Chainlink.
What about Chainlink?
I got into a Twitter argument today about Chainlink, and they're vicious Marines.
I knew that. I wanted to see what your thought process on Chainlink was, because
it's still a great project. I'm worried about their market cap. I'm worried about them still competing. There are other competitors coming. It's great technology, definitely. But yeah, dollar cost average in that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you were talking about Ergo, I think. Was it Ergo or Ergo? I always get
Ergo, and that's funny. I shouldn't have retweeted that chart because it had some major problems in it. All I was trying to say is that other competitors are coming. That the Oracle space is not necessarily going to be dominated by Chainlink. And frankly, that's a great thing. We want competition, much like Cardano is coming up for Ethereum. We want that to happen so that ETH feels that heat coming behind them. This wasn't a like you guys are going to zero type conversation. So would I dollar cost average on Chainlink? Absolutely.
So I wanted to be known real quickly, because one of the premises for the show, for having Lucas on, is that, and Rob and Ryan and I have spoken about this, is that when we go through times like this, where we're all questioning crypto prices, this is the time to dig into fundamentals as much as you can. And the reason we have Lucas on tonight, and the reason we have Rob on tonight, is because things like various oracles or various things that different projects and companies are doing, these are nobody pays attention to what anybody's doing when the price is going up. You got to love it. When the price is going up, everybody's happy. Nobody cares what any company's doing. When the price goes down, this is when you need to pay attention to what a company's doing, because like the internet, and what happened after 2001, and you were left with the likes of eBay and the likes of Amazon, it's who was doing the right thing before the crash or during the crash.
That's funny. I was just going to say, all this proves out is that you need to do your own research, right? At the end of the day, your own research and what you're interested in and what you stand behind and what you believe in and what you find the most utility in, that's all that matters, right? We can sit here and talk all day about Ethereum or Polkadot or Zero or Stormax or
Bitcoin,
VGX or Tomato Coin or any of these projects that are out
not
there.
Tomato Coin. No, don't bring Tomato Coin into this.
But like, we could talk about whatever we want, but at the end of the day, where you find the most value, where you find the most utility, and where you find the most reason, that's where you should be.
And if you have to pay the rent or the mortgage or the car payment this month, then you go ahead and do that. And if the price shoots up after that, you don't fret over that. You do what you have to do, and you take care of that. That's all. You do that in a bear market, and you do that in a bull market. I don't care what market it is.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and just like what Lucas said, just get behind, just find a project that you believe in, and then just go with that. whatever the team is, whatever the mission statement is, whatever the utility does, just say, you know what, I like that. I'm going to go with that. Because usually, like I was talking about, I invest in people. That's why I stuck with Voyager, even through their growing pains. I stuck with Simon and StormX for what they're doing. I stuck
StormX, great project.
Yeah.
Great project.
And they're going to have some amazing announcements in the next 3 days.
Oh, I spent time with StormX in Miami. Let me tell you something. Simon wouldn't tell me the details, but there's some good stuff happening. Continue, Rob. I apologize.
No, first of all, Alex is full of it. I'm sure Simon told him everything. Just Alex will not say it because
you're going to have to get me drunk.
He doesn't want to reflect the price, but yeah.
I'm on the way, Alex. You're only 10 minutes away.
No, I mean that's it. It's a very simple thing, but in any investment advice that people give out, they make it more complex than what it has to be, so people will follow, watch, pay, or what, it doesn't matter. But it's a very simple thing. Just find that project you like and go from there. Now, if you want to trade, you gotta, it's a little bit more trickier than that, but it is what it is. That's my
Yeah, listen, I get it for people who hit the thumbs down button. I mean, listen, all of you can hit the thumbs down button. We got one person who did, and I don't understand exactly what any of us have said for somebody to hit the thumbs down button. Like I said, you can all hit it for all I care. All we do is impart our wisdom.
Well, Alex, my mom is watching and she has Parkinson's, so maybe she just got a little bit shaky. And then she hit the phone.
I am sorry, Miss Rob. I am sorry.
So, what an editor at the New York Daily News told me, Alex? No one hates you unless you do something impactful.
Yeah,
right?
No, you know what it is, Ryan? Listen, we're four real guys right here. We're four real guys. We are exactly we got 3 down likes. That's great. Everybody hit it. I swear to God, if I don't have 100. If I don't have 100 thumbs down buttons by the end of this episode, I'm going to be freaking pissed. And what I will tell you,
I want to mainline it.
Thumbs down.
Is everybody thumbs down right now? Thumbs down.
Right now, thumbs down. I'm going to do it right now. Come on.
Give us all the thumbs down. I just thumbs down us right now. Come on, make it happen.
If you don't want to hear from 4 like normal guys, and I think we're as normal as the normal people get, about what we talk about or what our convictions are or what our opinions are on crypto projects, we're up to 5. Keep hitting it. I'm not satisfied yet. Thumbs down. So the thing is that we're telling like it is. You want to go to a pump and dump station, go do it. Go switch over to another YouTuber with a mouth open in his thumbnail and do that thing. We're not going to do that. We have a lot of experience.
Rip Roy Hypto.
We have a lot of experience right here. I mean,
Alex, can I talk to that real quick about
please do.
4 guys, 2 necks.
We got 10. We got 10 thumbs down. We got 10 thumbs down. I want more thumbs down, people. Come on, because we suck.
4 guys,
thumbs down.
2 necks. 4 guys, 2 necks. I love that. That's my favorite comment of all time.
I'm switching from iced tea to scotch.
Yeah, 2 things. Thumbs down and unsubscribe. That's when you know that you've got it.
Well, hold on. Let's not get carried away, Ken.
Right into my veins. Come on, bring it.
So I was going to say about the craziness that is YouTube and everything else. I do believe, in all honesty, that everybody needs a different level of education, right? Some people need the Kardashian level of more.
Do you want me to take off my shirt?
Entertainment, exactly, Alex. That's all we need.
So please don't ever ask me that again, Alex. Please don't ever ask me that again.
But it actually gets them in. But I will tell you this: how many? There we go. Now we're talking. So, but as people start to go to that, and they start to seek out more information and solidity, they kind of go to these types of channels, and that's just what it is. I think it's kind of like you have to reel them in, like the magician, and then you have to kind of like get a little information, and then wherever else they want to go. So yeah, I think it takes all types, and that's fine. I don't really care. What I don't like though is the constant calls for leverage trading and 50x, 100x. I will never get behind that. It just seems so ridiculous because people have no idea what they're doing. Some people do.
Rob, 100x or die. 100x for life.
Well, that's your tattoo on your left forearm. I'm not gonna call you out, but I mean, it is what it is. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So that's all. So here's a question to everybody. Are we in the bear market and then it's going to be sideways or down for the rest of this year? Or do you think we're going to recover? Or do you think we've reached our plateau a couple of weeks ago?
Listen, first of all, I want to tell everybody, first of all, Hawk, I'm not going to get naked, so please don't worry about that in the comments. What I do want to, I do want to be transparent with everybody on what I currently hold. I think I want to do that. I'm not going to say amounts. I'm just going to tell everybody what I hold. So currently, during this market time, I have consolidated my portfolio. I own AVAX, I own BNB, I own VGX, I own STMX.
Yeah.
My largest position is Bitcoin. I own Ethereum for transactions, not for investments. I own Cent. That's our token, so I can't get away with not saying that. Yeah. And I own KNC, and that's it. That's all I've consolidated to right now, going into the bear cycle. And I am not yield farming at this current time.
No kidding.
Can I say what I own? Because this is fun.
Sure.
If it's just going to be the word nothing, yes.
I don't want to make everyone watching too happy. No. No, I own a lot of ETH. That's my largest holding. I'll say that. Because I am a self-.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry. Jeff just put no ADA. I did forget. I do own ADA. I bought into it for the first time last month. I apologize.
Fair enough. But ETH is my largest holding. I'm a self-proclaimed ETH maxi because it drives the girls wild. And then I own DOT. I own VGX. I own ADA. I own some Tether. I actually still own some Doge. It's like nothing. It really isn't.
Really?
Yeah, it's like,
hung onto that?
Dude, it's $5 worth because I got an interest payment from a few months ago and I just didn't sell it. So I still own it though.
Amir, I'm sorry. I just got called out in the chat. Amir, you're absolutely right. I do own 550,000 Zero token. I apologize for omitting that. Thank you.
And I own Stormex. I own Zero token. I own something called Crap that got airdropped to me. And then I
own Crap token too.
Yeah, it got airdropped to me. I don't know where it came from. And then I also own Cent as well because.
And people, stop! I'm not drunk. I'm sunburned. Okay, I live in Puerto Rico, and I'm white.
I've known Alex for a long time, and I've had a lot of drinks with him, and I know when he's drunk and when he's sunburned. And this man needs some aloe. Like,
yeah, I need aloe. Okay, I'm not drunk. We all know Rob's. Listen, we all know Rob's holdings, so we're not going to go there. Lucas is our friend. He's private. He's not part of the business.
I'll do it if you want.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Let me announce this. Hold on a second.
Whoa. Did you guys see that lightning outside just now? Yeah,
so
buddy.
We currently have lightning down here in the Caribbean, and 3 of us here saw that, and that was amazing. But the most amazing thing that's going to come out of my mouth right now from not drunk but sunburned Alex is the fact that Lucas is going to give his hold. And you may be saying, why are we doing this? This is really important, right? Because I just boasted that we were the everyday people about 20 minutes ago. So we want to tell you what we're holding. And I actually got called up. Somebody has my wallet, one of my wallet addresses, and called me out on Zero, which I forgot to mention. And thank you for doing that. But we want to tell you what we're holding so that there's nothing hidden. And so Lucas, who's actually just a member of Trade the Train, and not even not even part of YouTube and what we're doing, is actually willing to reveal what he holds. So, Lucas, go ahead.
This is the first time I'm hearing this myself, by the way. I'm excited.
Yeah, I thought Lucas is poor.
I'm gonna take notes. This is gonna be good.
It fits with the dollar cost averaging theme. Like if you're feeling the pain right now, pick the projects you're long-term investing in. I thought that we were going to move sideways, so I consolidated recently in the past 2 months, and I might consolidate a little bit more. My largest holding to a lot of the Trader Chain member forum people, it's over 50% Cardano, and that's mostly because it's outperformed a lot of these other things, not because I set it up that way. I'm really big into Vesper Finance, VSP tokens. I'll be buying more of that. It's the only DeFi yield farming-esque type thing I'm in, but it's kind of a set it and forget it. It just does its own thing. StormX is my next biggest. I think the utility on that is tremendous. That is definitely a dollar cost average over time candidate for those of you that want to keep investing but don't want to day trade or trade over short-term periods. Voyager tokens. Fetch AI is still in my portfolio, although I might be selling that down a little bit. Next is ETH, and I might be buying more ETH with my Fetch. I am a long-term believer in Ethereum, even though I think that Cardano is going to be the winner in that race.
Do the right thing, Lucas. Do the right thing. Buy more ETH.
Buy more ETH. Polkadot is the next one on there. I think that they took a beating after the news out of China. The majority of the developers I know are Chinese firms, and they got really spooked with the Chinese saying no more mining here, and they sold a bunch. I think that's why they underperformed over the past, I'd say, month.
Fair enough.
And then crypto.com, Crow tokens. I use their
Well, you use their credit card.
I do use their
I know that for a fact. You bought me drinks the other night with that credit card, and I was impressed.
Very happy with it.
Where was I? Where was I? No one invited me up to anything. I have no friends. I'm so sad.
I think you were in Philadelphia, but yeah, he whipped out the crypto.com credit card, and I was like, damn, that's a baller move.
You get crypto with everything you buy. So it's those types of projects that you believe that are long-term, that you think have utility. Now, from a trading perspective, from a trade the chain perspective, the thing I'm most excited right now about is Solana. I think that they are outperforming everyone else. I think that they are the big winners of the conference, honestly. FTX, Solana, even though it's not Bitcoin related, I think that they made a tremendous showing both in front and behind the scenes. And that is something that people from Trade the Chain should be looking
Solana was very bullish. They had their big raise, as Ryan brought up in yesterday's episode. I think that is a project with legs. I do want to do a quick shout out to James Bowater, who asked if I even knew him. James, I love you, brother. Come to us from Mallorca.
We all love James.
We all love James Bowater. Absolutely. Also, I want to say that, first of all, Lucas, that was huge. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you.
You didn't have to do that.
It's not like I took my shirt off or anything. It's
Oh, are we taking our shirt? Are we taking our shirt?
Honestly, I mean, a lot of my picks are from Rob. Honestly, it's his channel, everything he does. It's great stuff.
Add a coin.
Rob, let us ask you this hard question. What have you sold within the last 30 days? This is truth or dare.
Dare, I'll jump in the pool. No, I remember I sold some Ethereum not too long ago, but that was when it was like a 3,300 or something like that.
How dare you?
Yeah.
ETH Maxi, how dare you?
I did it as soon as Ryan said he was an ETH Maxi. I'm like, whoop, that's an indicator.
Now I have to take a shower. I now I know how you felt when you met me in Puerto Rico the first time.
I've sold, I've been selling on the way up, just like how I had my exit strategy, but I need to redo it. I need to do that, my price prediction video, which will be end of June. But I've sold some here and I've rolled them into different properties and things like that. Because again, like people always say, like we just talked about, people are like, why do you even sell crypto? It's gonna be worth so much more at someday. Yeah, well, I'm old and my goals aren't your goals. So that's just all I can tell you.
Exactly.
So you know what's fun and what's worth looking at? San Jose Sharks NHL team. They're now accepting, hear me out, they're accepting payments for tickets, for concessions, for souvenirs, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, and a handful of other altcoins.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I don't know what that's going to net them, but.
Hey, Brian, did you say Doge? You said Doge, right?
I did. Yes, I did. I
No,
did.
hold on, Rob. Everybody's talking about Doge. If you look at Twitter feeds, if you look at social media feeds, you get crypto.com, you get other exchanges, they're all advertising how Doge is just listed in their ads because they're just trying to appeal to the masses, right? That's kind of like how Michael Saylor is with Bitcoin publicity. So
There's one rub. It's because they accept PayPal for payments, right? So anything that PayPal.
so they're not accepting Doge, they're accepting Doge via PayPal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyone else
All
who
right,
accepts PayPal, but hear me out.
All right.
There are so many merchants that accept PayPal for payments.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Astoria Beer and Cheese, one of my favorite bars in New York. They accept PayPal for payments. And that means they accept crypto. And they're just a family-owned business. They have 3 locations. And that means that anyone can technically accept these coins for payments.
Ah,
Hey,
That's why I'm mentioning that.
okay.
Real quickly, Lucas, first of all, Randall Gilmore, I will have another drink if I want to. Thank you. And Lucas,
Never tell a Navy man how many drinks he should have.
Lucas, can you give some insight to the people on the crypto.com card, how it works, how you felt with it, and what the experience has been?
So there are different tier levels, much like Voyager's going to have, much like StormX has. So if you buy X amount of the CRO tokens, you get a certain level of status or level with their card. So if you put in, I think it's like 200 tokens, 2,000 tokens, you can get a debit card. Do I have mine near me? I don't have mine near me. Where you then get a certain level of cash back, much like the Voyager program. So you get 1% cash back on your debit card. They've got a great app where you can transfer crypto in, or you can wire them US dollars or even British pounds. They're all around the world. And then you can charge your card with it. So it's not a credit card, it's a debit card. But I have never been turned down anywhere. I know that there's some people in the United States that do. As a matter of fact, a Trade the Chain member, Hawk, I think, had a problem with it, where he just couldn't use it as a credit card. No matter where around the world I go, I've never had a problem with it. I've bought furniture, I've paid for services with it, I've paid for alcohol at bars and restaurants, no problem.
Where's my crypto drinks, Lucas? I live a mile from you. Where's my crypto drinks?
They pay you your cash back immediately. So for example, when I buy something, I immediately get a text on my phone telling me how much I just spent and how much crypto I got back. And they give you it in CRO tokens, CRO tokens. Interestingly enough, they've made a hop over to Cosmos. They've gone from Ethereum over to Cosmos. They're trying to build out a chain much the same way that Binance is a smart chain. They've had some hiccups. They don't have the biggest development team in the world, but I do believe in their product. I do believe in what they're trying to do. I'm very excited about StormX's because I think that they actually have some even more leverage of what they can offer you in terms of using a debit card. So I'm excited to see that announcement.
Yeah.
Shout out to Toner Foreigner who appreciates my laugh. Someone has to.
Real quickly, I want to just say a few things. One is some things on the cent chart. The token, the trade the chain token, loyalty token that launched this past weekend. The chart is actually on Dexel. We were number 1 trending token. I believe Cent was number 1 trending token.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That will be that. Hold on, Rob. Hold on. I may be answering some of your questions right now.
We'll see.
So centtoken.com is going to be the website, and that goes live this week. It's going to have the contract address, where to buy. It's going to have the chart. It's also going to have the loyalty programs. And once again, I just want to reiterate to the folks that we made that program based on the great individuals that we've had on our show, from Voyager, StormX to others. And so anyway, that's all I want to say. Go ahead.
Okay, so your man Danish never got back to me.
Danish is flying in and staying at my house tomorrow.
Okay, so we got to do a live stream. So we got to do a show because he promised me some type of roadmap for the Cent token, because I remember that nice live stream we did where we talked about what Cent token was going to do, which sounded fantastic, but there wasn't a lot of details. And there was nothing about the different exchanges that were going to be listed on.
Whoa,
Rob,
Rob.
Rob,
We're your friend.
You know
You can't yell at
You
us.
know
Hold on a
better.
second.
No, no, no.
What am I,
No.
Steve?
As
What am I?
Rob says, nobody gets a
Voyager?
pass, Alex. Nobody gets a pass, Alex.
Wait,
I get a pass.
Guys, chill. I'll turn this thing around. Don't make me do it. Rob, you know better.
Yeah.
You absolutely know better. We can't talk about exchanges that might be listed on before it's ready to be listed. Don't
It's
be
just,
that guy.
Ryan, it's just us. No one's watching.
No one's watching.
Don't
You
be
know,
that guy.
it's like I said in the other episode. I now know how Steve Ehrlich feels when you can't say anything and you want to so bad because everybody's yelling at you.
But
You know how I feel for my entire professional life, Alex.
Yeah, I bet. So, but it wasn't just the exchange, but it was also, there was a roadmap, more utility things. That you were
But
gonna
like the utility and the listings, they're kind of hand in hand. So like, be patient. Good things come to those who wait. A catch up.
Everybody, listen. It is my second most requested topic behind Tomato Coin, is what's going on with Cent Token. So I just have to put it out there.
The people will know more about Cent Token at the right time.
All I'll say is we have great things in June coming up. So that's it.
Alex, it's June.
It is June.
I know we have great things coming in June.
That's pretty good.
And you know something? Hold on. Another judgmental person. So Ezra. If the alcohol's going to flow, it's going to flow. If you don't want to watch Trade the Chain after dark, if you don't know what you're getting into, then you watch Trade the Chain during the day.
We're not for teetotalers, Alex. Myself.
We love everybody. I'm just joking.
Shout out to First Coast Crypto. Met him in Miami. Great guy, and he's active in the comments.
100%. And one last thing I want to bring up, and I think I said this to Ryan briefly in Miami, is that we're thinking of, or actually, I'm not going to lay it on him. I was thinking of, and I brought it up in another episode, maybe a Trade the Chain summit in Puerto Rico. Leave in the comments if that's something of interest for you, okay? Because the four of us here, we have Puerto Rican ties, and we also know a hell of a lot of people on the island, and we play with the players, and that would be something that's cool. It would be like the everyday person kind of summit. So everybody,
It's gonna happen.
wait, am I supposed to not say anything?
It's gonna happen.
It is first week of December. I'm sorry. So if you'd like to see something happen, let us know in the comments first week of December.
Hey,
Sorry, Rob.
If that summit does go to pass, let me tell you a great story about Steve from Voyager. So I was doing that interview last week with him, and he was saying beforehand we were talking about this pizzeria shop in Miami that he went to visit. I don't know how many weeks ago. And he was like, yeah, I met some great people there, and they're big Voyager holders and blah, 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 blah. And then right before he went on, or no, maybe it was afterwards, he goes, yeah, I'm going to have he goes, if you're going to come down, let me know, because we're going to have an after party at this place, this pizzeria. I was like, oh. So I go, that's a pretty cool thing, because he picked a mom and pop place.
Yep.
In Miami, not some glitz and glamour big hall with a bunch of money, and said, hey, you guys are supporters of me, I'll be supporters of you, and I'm going to bring all my people with me. And that's exactly what he did. I'm like, what a good one of you. So maybe we should do that same thing in Puerto Rico. He was
better. He was better than Ryan, because he went to that mom and pop pizzeria. They did a VGX token on a pizza. It was great. Ryan and I were at Story nightclub, hanging out with Fetty Wap and
Questlove.
Questlove.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the pizzeria was the better choice.
Questlove is an idol of mine, though. So
that's true.
So Lucas, where should we go in Puerto Rico? Like a mom and pop place that we can bring a bunch of people.
Samia.
We instantly on the same place. Samia.
Italian, Puerto Rican fusion type place. It's fantastic. I ate there for dinner tonight. So
Samia, I love
Samia tonight.
My wife.
They had Taco Tuesday at Samia.
Now we're talking Taco Tuesdays on Puerto Rico. Let's all go.
Lucas, I was there last week with my wife, and shout out to Chris, one of the owners.
Yeah, totally. Chris is awesome. Listen, any of you guys live in Puerto Rico, let us know in the chats. Other than that, I'm going to say, yeah, maybe we had a few drinks. This is Trade the Chain After Dark. What do you expect? All right. You're lucky I didn't take off my shirt. We're real people. We're telling you exactly what we had. So if you came in late, go back to the beginning and watch, because it's as real as you're going to get. If you want to go hang out with people who are going to pump and dump you crap, go ahead. That's your own call. 2 is on your way out the door. If you could kindly hit the dislike button, the thumbs down, that'd be great. As many
Right
as
to
you
my
can
veins.
get would be awesome.
Right into my veins, please.
Yeah.
All dislikes. I roll around in it. I sleep
Yeah.
well. It's like a blanket of warmth for me.
I don't even know why people hate us. I mean, we're the ones coming on here and just telling you what it is.
Alex, no one hates you unless you do something meaningful.
That's all right. Wait till I take off my shirt. We'll get more thumbs down. That'll be another episode. So, folks, thank you guys all so much for joining us each and every day. Really appreciate it. We'll be here tomorrow again at our normal time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Rob, Lucas, guys, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to address what's happening in the market today. Really appreciate it. And as always, NFT hair, Ryan Gorman.
Yeah, buddy.
Adios, everybody.
Adios, everybody.
Take care. Be safe.
Bye-bye.